there, fantasy owners. Welcome to LTC Fantasy here. Not sure if you're chiming in watching via YouTube or listening via podcast, but really do appreciate the listen no matter how you're streaming the episode. Today's our Week 7 strategy episode, so we'll take a look at the upcoming schedule, kind of break it down, look for where to find some advantages to hopefully help strengthen your fantasy roster and really help you out this week. Some things to note for this week. Light nights are Tuesday, there's only 2 games. Thursday, 0 games because it's American Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all our American listeners, our friends south of the border there. And also Sunday, 5 games on the slate. Real heavy nights the other nights. Monday, there's 10 games. Wednesday, 15. Friday, 14. Saturday, 9. So for most of the few teams, it's only a 2-game week. It's only a 2-game week for Florida, Detroit, and Tampa Bay. 17 teams have 4 games this week, so it's pretty compacted with no games on Thursday. Quite a few teams still getting in 4 games this week. So in this episode, we will cover the Tuesday light night that's earlier in the week. The Sunday light night will be covered in our Weekend Ads episode. Don't forget to check that out if you have a chance. And we will also cover all 17 teams that have 4 games this week and give you some thoughts from those players there. So basically, we'll get right into it. Some Tuesday D-men. Remember, all of these people that play on Tuesday only have a 3-game week this week. None of them are on the 4-game schedule. So the first one's Owen Power from Buffalo. He's owned in 65% of Yahoo leagues. He's on the top pairing second power play unit. He has 6 points the last 9 games played, 16 shots on goal, and 10 blocks. He's really starting to come into his own. His offense is a little bit streaky, but he is a very young D-man there. He's going to be a future stud, and right now he's doing well offensively, so should be a pretty good streamer on a light night. Next one, Sean Dursey over in LA there. Owned in 32% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing second pairing, second power play unit, and he has 3 points his last 3 games played. He was pointless the previous 6, so you can tell he's a little bit streaky, but he is an offensive-minded defenseman. Gets some PP time. Not too bad in the hits and blocks department, so with a real light night, should be an okay streamer to add. Next one's Alex Edler from LA also. He's only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that third pairing there, but he has 3 points in the last 6 games, 10 hits, 9 blocks. So you can tell he has a nice hit and block total, even at his age. Sure, he's not putting up the point totals from past years, but he's still getting over that 30-point range, and he's in a not too bad of a spot right now. Might be an okay streamer on a light night there. And last one is Caden Gould from Montreal there, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing on the top pairing. He has 4 points the last 6 games there with 12 hits and 11 blocks. He has 2 2-point games, so he's kind of a boomer bust candidate. You're either going to really like his offense or not like him, but he does get a decent amount of blocks and hits, so we'll add a little bit of value in case he puts a goose egg there. Another one I should quickly mention is just Jordan Harris from Montreal. They're kind of sorting out the blue line, but he's a young kid that chips in the odd point here and there. Moving along to some Tuesday forwards now. Remember, all of these forwards, it's a 3-game week for them. First one's Jeff Skinner from Buffalo, listed as a left winger, owned in 36% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, top power play unit. He's put up 12 points the last 11 games there with 35 shots on goal, so he definitely fires quite a few pucks at net there, and he's been pretty good on a nice top line in Buffalo there. Buffalo's getting a lot of production out of the top line. Next one from Buffalo is Dylan Cousins, listed as a center, only owned in 9% of Yahoo leagues. He's playing second line, second power play unit, and he has 5 points his last 7 games there with 10 hits and 3 blocks. So he's been really decent offensively recently. He is a little bit streaky, so in a deeper league, he might be a decent streaming option for you. Going over to LA, look at Arthur Kaliev. Listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 27% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on that fourth line, but gets second unit power play time on top of that. And he's put up 8 points the last 9 games there, with 4 of those points being on the power play and 21 shots on goal. He's been really productive with limited ice time. Just with that limited ice time, I'd be looking more at him in a deeper league. But if you're in a pinch, he definitely provides some offense recently for you. Another one from LA is Trevor Moore, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second line, second power play unit. He's been really good. 7 points the last 6 games. Plus 4 in there, plus minus is counted. 16 shots on goal and 7 hits. Can be a little bit streaky, but he's on a hot streak. Had a hat trick the other game there against Edmonton, so he should be a safe streamer anyways. Another one from LA is Philippe Dagneau, listed as a center, owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues. Second line, second power play unit. Their second line's been pretty good lately. 6 points the last 6 games, plus 6, 10 shots on goal, 5 hits, 4 blocks. So he should be a fairly safe streamer because he kind of contributes in all categories there, depending how your league is formatted. Should be a fairly nice streamer on a very lighter Tuesday night there. And finishing off that second line is Victor Arvidsson from LA, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play there. He has 10 points his last 10 games, 5 of those points being on the power play, 22 shots on goal and 6 blocks. He's been really good this year because he's stayed relatively healthy so far, only missed a couple of games. And with that, his ownership should start going up. He'll be a very good streamer for you. He's been producing and contributing in a few other categories than just points. Over in Montreal, look at HKirby Dach, listed as center right winger, owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues. Playing top line, top power play unit, and he has 12 points in his last 9 games there. Near his point total in Chicago last year, it feels like, with 14 shots on goal. He's been really good on that top line, fitting in well with Caulfield and Suzuki. So he should be a very good streamer if you can get him in your league. Next one from Montreal is Mike Hoffman, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, playing second line, second power play unit. He has 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 5 games there, so almost a goal per game, point per game guy the last 5. 13 shots on goal. He really is streaky. Hoffman's either on or off, so you're either going to love him or hate him, but he's on a hot streak right now, and in a deeper league, it might be worth taking a chance on him. Another one in Montreal, Sean Monahan, listed as a center. Also, like Hoffman, owned in only 3% of Yahoo leagues. Playing third line, but up on that top power play unit. And he has 3 points his last 4 games there with 10 shots on goal. Like Hoffman, he's very hot and cold, but he is on that top power play unit. So in a real deep league, he might be worth taking a chance on streaming on a very light Tuesday. Over in the Rangers, look at Jimmy Vesey, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. He's up on that top line, and since being up there, he has 3 points the last 4 games, plus 5, 9 shots on goal and 6 hits. He is up on that top line, so I look at him maybe getting some piggyback points with Zibanejad and Kreider. But the offense, he's not known for his offense, and his time on the top line could be short-lived. So do check. I use dailyfaceoff.com. Use whatever line website you use. Do make sure he is on that top line before streaming him. But definitely in a deep league, might be worth a chance there. Last one from the Rangers is Philip Chittle, listed as center right winger, owned in 11% of Yahoo leagues. Plays third line, but plays on the second power play unit. And he has 5 points the last 5 games there. 8 shots on goal, 6 hits, 4 blocks. So he's been really good in most cats, especially of late there. With that, in a deeper league, it might be worth a chance. Him being on a third line kind of hurts my feel about streaming him in a standard league there. But in a deeper league, some of them that I play in, I'll be definitely looking to see if he's available on Tuesday. Before we get into 4-game D-men, if you are finding some value, don't forget to hit subscribe, the like button, etc. Or if you're listening via podcast, to hit follow, listen, as we really do try to build some value for you each and every week, putting out 3 episodes to help strengthen your fantasy roster. There's my little spiel there, so we'll get into some 4-game D-men for this week, and we'll start off over in Anaheim. Look at John Klingberg. He's owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the second pairing, top power play unit. He only has 1 point in the last 4 games, but he put up 5 points in the previous 4. In Anaheim, it's not quite going how he liked. He's been a little bit streaky, very slow start, where his ownership really dropped. But if you catch him in that right patch, he is going to provide some value. Having a 4-game week might prove to be worthwhile, depending how deep your league is there. Over in Arizona, look at J.J. Moser, owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, top power play unit, and he has points in 4 of the last 5 games there, 8 shots on goal, 6 hits, 5 blocks. Other than plus minus, that's going to hurt you in the desert, should be a fairly safe streamer. Actually just traded for him in my Dynasty League, hoping it pans out, fingers crossed, but yeah, Moser should be fairly safe for you. Next one's Noah Hannafin in Calgary, owned in 51% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, second power play, and he has 5 points his last 7 games there, with 24 shots on goal, and 15 blocks. So does contribute in a few other categories. He's been really good of late after a really slow start, and how good he's been of late should be a decent streamer, especially with a 4-game week there. Over in New Jersey, look at John Marino. Only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second pairing, and he's put up 8 points his last 12 games there. So pretty good, 15 blocks. Obviously his offense won't quite keep up like that. Learn how to speak there. But even if it doesn't, he is still chipping in a bit here and there offensively. So in a deep league, and the way New Jersey is rolling, might provide some value with a 4-game week. Over in Ottawa, look at Jake Sanderson. He's owned in 44% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line, top power play unit. Him, like Marino, he's put up 8 points his last 12 games there, 23 shots on goal and 9 blocks. Kid's been playing well of late. He's gaining more and more opportunity, and as he's getting increased ice time, increased responsibilities, he's been flourishing. So with a 4-game week, I really do see some value in there for you if you can get him. Next one's Mario Ferraro over in San Jose. He's only owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the third pairing but second power play unit. He has 2 points in his last 5 games there, so under half point per game, but he does have 10 hits and 9 blocks. His value really is in the hits and blocks department. If he does chip in offensively, that's an added bonus. So depending what you're looking for in your league, if you're in a catch league, need a little help on hits and blocks, 4-game week, he should definitely help you out there. Next one's over in St. Louis. Look at Kelly Rosen. 0% owned, so available everywhere, but playing on the third pairing. But he's put up 4 points in the last 5 games there, plus 7 and 9 shots on goal. He's been in and out of the lineup, so do make sure he's dressed. He's in right now because of a little injury on the back end there, and he's been producing. So if he keeps that up, he should be able to stay in there. But I would only use him because third pairing guy in a real deep league might be worth streaming with a 4-game week. Next one's over in Vancouver. Look at Luke Shen. He's owned in 49% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that top pairing in Vancouver. And he's put up 3 points the last 6 games there. So half point per game. 14 shots on goal. 31 hits and 11 blocks. He gets a lot of hits and blocks. So that's definitely where his value is. He's firing some pucks on net and chipping in a little bit offensively lately. So if it's a Cats league, he'll definitely provide some value. If it's a standard league, probably leaving him alone, depending how deep the league is there. And the last one's Neil Pionk over in Winnipeg, owned in 65% of Yahoo leagues, placed in the top pairing, second power play unit. He has 5 points the last 4 games there, 7 hits and 6 blocks. He can be a little bit streaky. Morrissey's the guy that you want, but he's high ownership now. But he is decent in most categories, so even if he gets you a goose egg in the points column, he should be able to provide a little bit of value. With a 4-game week, should be an okay streamer over the 4 games there. Move along to some forwards now that have 4-game weeks. We'll start off in Anaheim again. Look at Adam Henrique. He's listed as center left winger, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, top power play unit. It's been pretty good of late. 7 points the last 7 games there. 20 shots on goal. He has been good of late. He has points in 6 of the last 7 games to get those 7 points. So if it's an offensive league, depending how deep it is, might be worth taking a shot on there. Another one in Anaheim's Ryan Strome. He's listed as a center, owned in 13% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second pairing, top power play unit. He only has 1 point in the last 4 games there, but 6 points in the previous 5. So he is really hot and cold. So over the 4 games, you should at least get 1 hot game in there. Maybe 2, maybe all 4. But so he is a little bit of a risk-reward play, but with a 4-game week, if it's a deeper league, he might be worth taking a chance on. Over in Arizona, look at Travis Boyd, listed as center right winger, only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues, so pretty much available everywhere. Top line, top power play unit, and he has 5 points the last 6 games there. He's been decent offensively of late. In a deep league, he could provide some value for you. Another one in Arizona is Matias Michelli, listed as a left winger, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, plays second pairing, second power play unit. He has 7 points in the last 9 games there with 7 hits. He's cooling off a little bit offensively. He was a little bit hotter about a week and a half ago there. But in a deep league with having 4 games, he could provide some decent value for you throughout the week. Over in Calgary, look at Adam Ruzicka. Listed as a center, only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. He's listed as a center, but he's playing wing, so he might be center right wing by the time you try to stream him. Playing on the top line, second power play unit, and he has 5 points the last 5 games there with 9 shots on goal. Right now, he is up on that top line, and he is producing of late there. So in a real deep league, because we don't know if Toffoli or Mangiapane, etc., might take his spot, depending how Sutter juggles the line. But if he stays up there, he has been producing. In a real deep league, he could provide some value. Another one in Calgary is Michael Backlund. He's listed as a center, owned in 8% of Yahoo leagues. Plays third line, second power play unit. He's put up 4 points the last 6 games, so decent offense. 15 shots on goal, 12 hits. He is really streaky with his offense, where he kind of gets his points in bunches of games and then no points for a bunch there. So with his streakiness, I'd really only be looking at him in a real deep league, but them having 4 games, depending how it's formatted, how deep it is, could provide some value for you. Over in Carolina, look at Jordan Martinook, listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on that third line there, and he does have 5 points in his last 4 games, so he has been producing. He plays third line and no power play time, so that's a little bit of a hindrance. But in a real deep league where you do draft some third line players, he might be worth streaming. Another one that plays on that third line is Jordan Staal in Carolina. Listed as a center, owned in 6% of Yahoo leagues. He has 4 points his last 4 games. Also has thrown 6 hits, so a little bit of secondary value there. But similar to Martinook, no power play time. So we're probably not touching him without it being a really, really deep league there. Over in Colorado, look at Arturi Lehkonen. Listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 54% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the top line and top power play unit. Currently, he's put up 5 points in the middle of a 5-game point streak there. Also, plus 5 in those 5 games, 14 shots on goal, 5 hits and 5 blocks. You can see that he's really contributing everywhere. He's back up on that top line. So if he is available and how Colorado can score, I would definitely be picking him up if he's available in your league. Another one in Colorado's Evan Rodriguez, listed as center, left wing, and right wing. Do like that. You can place him any of the forward spots there. Only owned in 10% of Yahoo leagues and playing on the second line, but also up on that top power play unit. And he's put up 6 points in his last 7 games there with 24 shots on goal. He's been really good of late, and he's up on the top power play with Ratinen, McCarr, McKinnon there. And he is in the top 6. He should be decent streamer with having a 4-game week. Over in Dallas, look at Tyler Seguin, listed as center right winger, owned in 60% of Yahoo leagues. Playing on the second line right now, and he's put up 7 points his last 9 games there, with 17 shots on goal and 6 hits. His lighter offense this year than we have seen in the past, but he's 7 points in 9 games. If you're in a deeper league, that's some pretty good offensive production, and with having a 4-game week, should be back on the power play, not listed there right now, but should be back on there, should provide some value for you. Over in Nashville, look at Mikael Granlund, listed as a center, owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues. He's put up 6 points the last 8 games there with 12 hits and 5 blocks. He really could be a nice add in a deeper league, as he does contribute in most cats, and he does have a 4-game week. So he could provide some value for you, depending how your league is formatted. Should be a decent add. Another one in Nashville is Ryan Johansen, listed as a center, owned in 21% of Yahoo leagues, centering that second line on the top power play unit, and he's put up 3 points the last 4 games. He did have a pretty good season last year. He's kind of been regressing a bit this year, but with having a 4-game week, he should provide some value if you're in a deeper league. Over in New Jersey, look at Tomas Tatar, listed as left winger or right winger, owned in 20% of Yahoo leagues. On the top line and second power play unit, he's been really good of late. 9 points his last 9 games there. Plus 15 if plus minus is counted in your league. He'll definitely bring some value there, especially of late. And 16 shots on goal. He's been really good on that top line. New Jersey's been reeling there, getting tons of wins. So even in a standard league, maybe a deep league, you should provide some value for you with having a 4-game week. Another one in New Jersey is Fabian Zetterlund, listed as a right winger, owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line, second power play unit, and he's put up 5 points his last 6 games there, 13 shots on goal. He's a young kid, so he is streaky, but he is up on that top line, is producing at the moment, so in a deeper league, could prove to be a pretty decent streamer for you this week. Over for the Islanders, look at Matt Barzal, listed as a center, owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, top power play unit. He's put up 8 points his last 6 games with 15 shots on goal. Really has been an assist machine. He's well over a point per game, all of them being assists. Hasn't scored a goal yet, but does fire some pucks on net. Could provide some value for you with being over a point per game player and having 4 games. Another one from the Islanders, Brock Nelson, listed as a center, also owned in 63% of Yahoo leagues, playing on that second line and top power play unit. And he has 9 goals and 3 assists for 12 points in just his last 11 games, scoring a lot of goals in a short amount of time there. And 44 shots on goal. Obviously, to score, you got to shoot the puck, and he's been doing that. He's been about as hot as it gets, especially in the goal scoring department of late. So if he is available, definitely should provide some value with a 4-game week. Another one in the Islanders that I looked at is Zach Parise, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 7% of Yahoo leagues. Currently skating on that top line and second power play unit. He's put up 3 points the last 5 games there with 5 hits and 5 blocks. He is on the top line. He's been okay, over a half point per game player. Does get you some hits, does get you some blocks. So in a real deep league, he might provide some value for you with having 4 games. Over in Philly, look at Owen Tippett. He's listed as a right winger, owned in 3% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the top line, top power play unit, and he has 5 points the last 6 games there, 19 shots on goal, 11 hits, and 5 blocks. He's been really solid of late. Should gain even more opportunity with Konechny out for a few games, well, at least a few games there. And he is decent in most categories, so having a 4-game week could provide some good value for you. Another one from Phillies, Kevin Hayes, listed as a center, owned in 23% of Yahoo leagues. Currently has put up 5 points during a 4-game point streak. Should mention he plays top line, top power play unit. And during that 4-game point streak, 15 shots on goal and 4 hits. He's been healthy this year, been pretty solid throughout the season, and been pretty consistent as well. So with that, he should provide some value with having 4 games there. Another one from Phillies, Noah Cates, listed as center left winger, available everywhere, 0% owned, centering that second line, second power play unit. And he has 5 points in the last 6 games there, with 14 shots on goal and 14 hits. He has been moving up the depth chart, so with that, he is getting some increased ice time, increased production. So in a deeper league, I'd wait a little bit to see more in a not shallow league, but standard league, I should say. Might provide some value in a deep league there. Over in San Jose, look at Thomas Hertl, listed as a center, owned in 58% of Yahoo leagues. Plays top line, top power play unit, and he's put up 12 points the last 9 games there, so definitely getting some points. Plus 7 in San Jose. Think about that. San Jose doesn't get a bunch of wins there. 10 hits and 10 blocks, so he's been really good of late. That plus minus is quite surprising in San Jose, so I would definitely grab him if he is available. Another one from San Jose is Logan Couture, listed as a center, owned in 32% of Yahoo leagues, plays second line, top power play unit. And he's put up 6 points the last 5 games, so nice little run here. 9 shots on goal, 11 hits, and 3 blocks. You can see that he kind of contributes in every category there. Hertl would be my first choice, but Couture, if you want a shark, isn't a bad one to fall on there. Another one from San Jose is Alex Barabanov, listed as left winger, right winger, only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues, playing on the second pairing, but up on that top power play. He's put up 9 points his last 10 games there. Should mention, though, over the 10-game stretch and those 9 points, 4 of them have been multiple point games, so he really is kind of a boom or bust. He's either going to get you a couple of points for the most part or a goose egg. But with having a 4-game week, he should be able, if you got him for all 4 games, a couple of 2-point games and maybe a couple goose eggs in there. Another one in St. Louis is Robert Thomas, listed as a center, owned in 56% of Yahoo leagues. On the top line, top power play unit, and he's put up 5 points his last 5 games there with 10 shots on goal and 3 blocks. He's really had a slow start to this season, as a lot of Blues forwards have, but he's starting to pick it up, and he had an awesome, unbelievable second half last year, so he might be catching him at the right time, and having a 4-game week might be worth streaming. Another one in St. Louis that's been hot, look at Ryan O'Reilly, listed as a center, owned in 42% of Yahoo leagues. Plays second line, second power play unit. And he's put up 6 points in the midst of a 4-game point streak there. 8 shots on goal and 5 blocks. He really is starting to get it going offensively. If face-off wins are counted in your league, he wins a lot of them there. So that'd be a great bonus for you there. And should be a pretty nice ad with having 4 games. Another one in St. Louis is Jordan Kyrou. He's listed as left winger, right winger, owned in 64% of Yahoo leagues, playing third line but on that top power play unit. He's put up 5 points the last 5 games there with 15 shots on goal and 4 blocks. Like most of St. Louis forwards, took him a little while to get it going, but he seems to be hitting his stride with having a 4-game week, and what Kyrou can score in bunches, can put a few goals in. Having a 4-game week should provide some value for you. Another one in St. Louis is Ivan Barbashev, listed as center left winger, owned in 17% of Yahoo leagues. Played on that third line. He has 7 points the last 9 games there with 19 hits. So throws a body around. He's currently on the third line, but he seems to go up and down the lineup, in and out of the power play. So in a deep league, that's where he's going to provide the most value. And if he gets some increased ice time, that just increases the value that you're going to get out of him. Over in Vancouver, look at Brock Besser, listed as a right winger, owned in 59% of Yahoo leagues. Currently on the third line, but top power play unit. He's currently on a 5-game point streak with 5 points since coming back from injury there. He gets a lot of shots on goal, and with the current point streak there, if he's available in your league, definitely grab him. Over in Vegas, look at William Karlsson, listed as a center left winger, owned in 41% of Yahoo leagues. Playing second line, second power play unit. He's put up 9 points his last 11 games there, 27 shots on goal, 8 hits, and 9 blocks. He is a little bit streaky, but with 4 games this week and what he can contribute in some other categories there, should get some fantasy value out of him. Over in Winnipeg, look at Cole Perfetti, listed as center, left wing, and right wing, only owned in 14% of Yahoo leagues. Currently on the second line, second power play unit. He's only put up 6 points his last 12 games there, and he is really streaky, so this is more of if you're in a real deep league, because the kid does have some nice hands there, and if you can catch him at the right time in a deeper league, could provide some value for you. The last one from Winnipeg is Blake Wheeler, listed as a right winger, owned in 45% of Yahoo leagues. Plays on that second line and second power play unit, and he has 8 points his last 11 games there, so pretty decent production. 20 shots on goal, 9 hits, and 4 blocks. He's be a pretty solid ad as he contributes in most categories and should be a pretty safe ad for you, especially with a 4-game week. That's it for this episode. We'll be out in a bit with our midweek waiver wire episode and also our weekend ads episode. If you did like it, remember to hit like, hit subscribe. Remember that notification bell if you're watching via YouTube. If you're listening via podcast, remember to hit heart, hit that follow, hit subscribe, depending on what platform you're listening to it on. And good luck, fantasy owners, and we'll talk to you soon.